Hello everybody, welcome to LilyLuLou. If you're new here, my name's Karen, I'm the Junk Journal Geek, and today I'm going to be doing the last in a set of videos for my last BB Craft haul. If you haven't seen the previous ones, I'll try and remember to link that in the description box below. Now I've had an idea of what I want to do. I want to make some page edge ruffles, but I want to make them neat. Normally I've made page ruffles before, or paper ruffles, whatever you want to call them, but mine are usually rather scruffy, wonky, all that sort of thing, and I fancied making or trying to make some that were a bit neater. So I'm going to try and do that today, and I've got in mind how I'm going to achieve that. Obviously lots of people have made paper ruffles before, there's nothing new there, but the way I'm going to do it might be different. I don't know if anyone's done this before. I haven't seen anyone do it this way before, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been done, obviously. It just means I haven't seen it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and score my paper so that my folds are equal, to try and make sure I get neat folds, if that makes sense. Hopefully this will make more sense as we go through. So I had a look at a paper ruffle I had made before to sort of gauge how big I usually do these, and I think I'm scoring the first line at 3/4 of an inch because that's sort of my starting point. I need to just check this because I'm not sure that that's, oops, see I've gone skew-whiff already. I've even scored it and I've still gone skew-whiff. So yeah, I think that's going to work. So my first score line is at 3/4 of an inch, and then my second one is at 1 inch, so it's 1/4 of an inch away from the first. And then what I'm going to do is score at 1/2 an inch, and then 1/4 of an inch again, and then another 1/2 an inch on from that, and I'm just going to keep doing that. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. So now we're on 1/4 inch. I'm going to do that across this sheet of paper. So that was 1/4 of an inch, so now I want a 1/2 inch. It's very difficult to talk and concentrate at the same time for me. Talk about what I'm doing and concentrate on doing it. So that was 1/4 of an inch, so now I'm going to go 1/2 an inch, 1/2 an inch away from the last score line. Now I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch away from the last score line. Now 1/2 an inch, and 1/4 of an inch. And I'm hoping this will give me nice neat ruffles. There's nothing wrong with scruffy ruffles, but all of mine are scruffy, and I just fancied a change, something a bit neater. So that's 1/4 and 1/2 and 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 1/4 and a half, a quarter. Sorry if this is boring. And a half, and a quarter, and a half. Max, don't want any noise, thank you. And a quarter, and a half. Ooh, can I get another quarter on? Just look at that. Right, I think that will do for now. I might chop the end bit off, I'll see how we go. So now I'm going to put my folds in while my piece of paper is quite big, and then I'm going to trim this down to the size I actually want them. So basically I'm going to fold on each of these lines opposite ways, and I've already done that wrong, haven't I? Hang on, let me think. I wanted to go, yeah. And this paper's cracking a bit, so we'll have to see how we go. So we want the first fold to go up. Maybe I will have to, maybe it would be easier to cut them down first, Karen. Right, so what I want to do, I want my ruffles to be 1 inch wide. So I'm going to lay that on there. Can't see the bottom now, that's the only thing. So I won't know if it's straight or not, will I? And I want to keep the length because obviously they're so much shorter when you fold them. So let's just mark, let's make some inch marks across the bottom here. I only have torn edges, so they're not going to be that accurate. Which is not great when you're trying to make them neat, but we'll see how we go with that. Is that going to be, hopefully that will be enough to help me line it up straight-ish. So how are you all? I hope you're all well and happy. I have just been away for a few days. If you follow me on any of my social medias, you may have seen that my 2 youngest girls took me to Edinburgh for the Christmas markets, which was lovely. Right, I'm going to start that there and then line that up here. Yes, it was absolutely lovely. I've had a really peaceful and restful few days, which I really did need, and I didn't realise how much I needed it until we were away. And that sounds mad, you know, we've gone to the Christmas markets, you'd expect it to be hectic, and it wasn't. It was lovely. Had a really nice relaxing few days. I slept a lot, much more than I would normally. We ate nice food, had a couple of nice drinkies. It really was a lovely, relaxing few days. But you know what it's like, you go away for 3 or 4 days, but you come back with 3 to 6 weeks washing. I don't know how that works, but it does seem to happen every time. So now, oh, that's just reminded me actually, I've got the dry buddy going in the background, and I've noticed that makes quite a lot of noise when I'm on camera, so I've just unplugged that. So if you could hear that loud whirring noise in the background, that's what it was, but I've unplugged it now. Yes, I've had a lovely, lovely few days. Obviously that's meant no videos again, but that is life. I'm afraid. And in the new year, my eldest daughter, who is the mother of my grandchildren, she is starting a new job, and while she gets settled in for the first few weeks, I will be looking after the grandchildren. Not sure exactly how that's going to work yet, because she's going to be working shifts, but I imagine the beginning part may not be shifts if she's training. Max, leave it. So there may be another period again where I'd have to disappear because I'm just not here to video. I am going to try and get some videos done ahead of time, but I always try and get a few videos ahead of time, and never seems to quite work out. But there you go. You can always join my Facebook group to keep in touch with me if you'd like to, because obviously when I can't record videos, I can be in my Facebook group, because I can, you know, do that in between doing other things, whereas filming a video takes, you know, you can't really do it while you're doing other things. Right, I'm not sure that these are going to be entirely straight, and it's not going to work as a nice neat, yeah, it already looks wonky, so never mind. We'll go with the flow. We'll work with what we've got. At least it's easy to fold the paper when you've already scored it, even if it's not as straight as I wanted it to be. Maybe this just takes practice. Where's my next one? Is there a fold there? Yes, there is. So there. Do you reckon I've gone wrong with my counting? Looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, maybe not. Is there one there? Oh yeah, there is one there. Okay. So we're still not managing to get straight ruffles. Obviously that's a Karen quirk. Right, have I lost one there? Looks like I missed one there. Oh, I've gone very wrong here somewhere. Who knew that paper ruffles could be so challenging? Well, they are if I'm doing them. Yes, I've gone wrong somewhere there. Well, that's a bit annoying. Right, let's do a short one. So, oh, hang on, is this where I've gone wrong? Haha. Is it? No, it isn't. That was right. So we'll go up there. Let's go down as far as we can. At least, you know, you can see that we all make mistakes. We have to work with them. Ah, did I go wrong here? In a minute I'm going to glue these, but I'm just trying to get some memory in the paper first. That's there. So it's a short one, so that should be a long one. Oh yes, that's where we've gone wrong. So I'm going to rip that off there. We're going to have a short ruffle, but that's all right because, you know, we can use that. There's lots of things you can use these for. It doesn't just have to be. Right, so I'm going to put a little dot of glue in the little fold. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So in the little 1/4 inch gap, I'm just popping a spot of glue and I'm using art glitter glue just to hold these in place. This all was, in theory, in my head, this was a brilliant idea for getting a straight paper ruffle. Clearly my head thinks that I am more talented than I actually am. But there we go. Doing things on camera is always more difficult than doing them off camera for some reason. Right, so I've just got those held in place for now. Stop curling. We don't want curling. Let's pop that on there. Let's pop that back in there for a second, and then I'm going to grab my, what's left, oh for goodness sake, give up. What's left in my goodie bag from BB Crafts. I want this, and I'm hoping it's going to be wide enough, so I didn't think to check before I decided to go for a 1-inch ruffle, which was a deliberate mistake, let's call it that. So I want some of this to go down the middle of my ruffle, is my intention. So there's my ruffle. I want this to go down the middle as a trim, and I'm going to stick that on, but then I'm going to go pop it under the sewing machine. So let's pop some glue, actually, which is the back and which is the front of this. Don't think it matters. I'm just going to dot some glue along the back of the Ricrac. Let's try again with the pin. Got it first time. So curly whirly. So this is going to give you an idea of what it would have looked like if it was the full length of the page. And I'm hoping that that art glitter glue will hold that Ricrac. But because it's metallic, I'm not sure how that's going to work. But hey ho. Now, I wonder if we can go from the bottom, how much we could get. While that one's drying, let's just have a play with this one. It would help if I remembered to burnish these, wouldn't it? As I go along. Where is my, that one will do. So, in case you can't see what I'm doing, I'm folding these alternate ways as I go up. There, I can see where I've gone wrong there. But can I hide that? Oh yes, I've managed to hide it going up this way. So we might have one wonky one. Let's see how this one looks. Right, that one went better. So let's just do a bit of burnishing. This afternoon, I'm off to see my eldest grandson in his first nativity at school, so that will be lovely. Right, So let's have a try with this and see how short that is. That started off, how long was this? That's 12 inches. So it's about 14 inches long, and it's ended up just under 5 inches long. So they really do shrink, but you can stick these together. So maybe we'll have a try. We'll try and do a long one this time. Maybe stick them together. Again, I'm just popping a touch of glue. I'm going to try and get this one a bit straighter as I go down. I don't know if I can. No, I can't. Never mind. We'll go with the wonky edge again. The wonky folds. Oops, a bit too much glue on that one. But we're going to be hiding that with the Ricrac, so I'm literally just putting a touch of glue on these, but obviously sometimes a little bit more squeezes out than others. I'm going to put that on there now to hold that down, try and give that glue a chance to set. Now, has this worked? It has. I just want a little bit more glue down here. Let's get my gold and hold that down, let that set. Now I'm going to try and do the same as I've just done with this one and attach this onto the other one to make it longer. So if you've never made paper ruffles before, probably an idea to go and watch someone else do it. See, normally I just fold the paper, I don't bother scoring and measuring. I just thought I'd have a go today to try and get a neater one, but obviously I think probably what I would need to do is make sure my paper's square to start with, because obviously when you rip these pages out of music books, they're not square to start with in most, very often. So that would probably help. So maybe I should put a page under the guillotine and cut some up and see how it goes. Right, let's do a bit more gluing. Dot, 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 dot. Oops. Obviously I only need to hold these in place for now, because once I put them under the sewing machine, they'll be stitched together, so they won't move then. That's very wonky, that one. Now, what's the best way to attach this? Pop that on top of there, perhaps. Yes, definitely haven't got neat, straight paper ruffles. Never mind. Don't know until you try these things, do you? Okay. So now let's cut a piece of Ricrac. That's the length of that. So this one now with the two attached together is roughly, oh, because it's not straight, it's a bit tricky to tell, but it's about 8 inches, so that would probably work for a page edge near enough. Come on, turn over. Oh, actually, probably looks better that side now, doesn't it? Should I stick this one on that side? Why not? Okay. I'm going to put the glue on the other side this time, see if it sticks any better. I mean, if this doesn't stick, I could always use the hot glue gun, but I wouldn't do that if I was putting this through the sewing machine, I don't think. I don't think my machine would appreciate that. Right, let's try and get this sort of in the middle. Right, you've got an idea of what I'm doing. I think while those are drying, I'm going to pop you on pause and I'm going to cut some accurate strips and see if that makes a difference. So I'll be back in a second. Right, I'm back again. I've cut these on my guillotine, so they're exactly 1 inch wide, and I've gone through, I've done exactly the same thing. I've scored at 3/4 of an inch to start, then 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and I can already see as I've started folding these that they are going to be much neater, and this is what I was trying to achieve. So the moral of the story is, when you want something neat, don't cheat. Go and measure and cut accurately. So you can see as I'm folding these, you know, they are staying on the line that I am folding. So I've done 2 of these so that we can make another long strip and get that nice neat effect I was wanting to achieve. She says, hopefully. It is much neater. It's still not 100%, but I think that's to do with, I've probably, you know, as I'm scoring these, because I did these individually, with narrow pieces of paper on the scoreboard, it's quite difficult not to move them as you're working. So I have probably, you know, moved something slightly askew as I'm scoring. So I'm going to try and join these together again to get a long strip. So let's see how we get on this time. So that first one already looks wonky. Oh well. This is why I like junk journals, because when I was making cards, it was, you know, critical to get things straight, and you know, it all had to look perfect. So they're quite time consuming because of that, unless that sort of thing comes naturally to you. You know, some people can just do it and it's right. I'm not one of those people. But with junk journals, you know, part of their charm is the fact that they are wonky, eclectic, things have gone wrong, things are old, damaged, stained, you know, because we are reusing old things. They're not going to be perfect, are they? So That's why I love junk journals. They're very forgiving, and the, you know, the fact that they are quirky is their charm. So it makes it much easier for me personally to create, because, you know, we all have that tendency, I think a lot of people, maybe not all, have that tendency to aim for perfection. And, you know, I was brought up, if you're going to do something, you do it properly. It's got to be right. I went to a grammar school, very strict. So that has been, you know, I've been brainwashed to be that way, if you like. And making junk journals has helped me to let go of that perfectionism. And, you know, it's quite freeing. And it's, you know, mentally very good for you, because you get lost in the process of making rather than the process of trying to make everything perfect. You know, you all know, if you've been here before, you will be very well aware that I do tend to overthink what I'm doing. I spend far too long when I'm trying to decorate something to work out what should go where, and how much is too much and how much is not enough, and all that sort of thing. And I'm not artistic by nature. I've always been crafty, but I'm not artistic, I wouldn't say. So, you know, I didn't do art at school. I was encouraged to do academic subjects. So junk journals have been, they're such a joy for me. I love needlecrafts as well, but again, I love making patchwork quilts, but they have to be accurate, otherwise they don't work. And it's, you know, you get to the point where you just think, oh, I give up. Which is probably why I'm very good at starting things and not so good at finishing them. Right, come on, stick down. Just grab a little bit. Just want a little bit of grabbage going on, just to hold you in place, please. Oh no, come on. Please cooperate. It's like you haven't got enough hands to make these. Right, so that's that one. How's it looking from the back? It's good as well. Okay, so let's try. That looks like it's stuck down. Try and get another piece of Ricrac that will fit this length. This one looks like, oh, this one looks like it might have come out slightly longer. I wonder if that's because I was more accurate. But it doesn't want to stick. Let's give it a bit of a burnish. Swap sides and do the same the other side and see if that helps. Right. I still can't work out which is the front and which is the back on this. So as I always say, if you can't tell, it doesn't matter. I wonder if it would be easier if I did this half at a time. too high? Clearly the answer to that question was no. It would not be easier, Karen, because you're making a faff of it, aren't you? I think what's happened is I've started from the wrong end. I should have started from this end. Then I can go the way the paper's folded. Who knew? So if you can hear any noise, that's my neighbours out in their garden. It's quite a nice day here today. The sun's shining at the moment. What am I doing? Why am I making such a pig's ear of this? I've cut the Ricrac too short, haven't I? How did I do that when I measured it? Goodness only knows. Oh well, we just have to cut the end of it off, won't we? I hope I'm on camera. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Just enough. It was, I did measure it right. It's just as it was moving. So this is still going around the corner. It's still not straight, but it's neater than the other one was, I think. So that was our first one, our little one. So that could be like a little tab on something. That may just be long enough for a page edge, I'm not sure. And then we'll see how this other one looks. Oops, I've bent my pin. So what I need to do now is pause you again and go and stitch these. So I'll be back again in a second. Right, oh sorry, knocked the camera there as I sat back down. So I've put all these through the machine. This was the first one we made, which I think is going to be okay, you know, to use as a little tab on something or what have you. It's not great, but there we go. It's not too bad. Then this was the second one we made, so it's still wonky, but again, it will be usable. Then this was the third one where I actually trimmed the paper first to make sure it was square. So that one's come out slightly tidier, slightly straighter, a bit more, you know, what I had in mind when I was thinking up this. Actually came to me in the middle of the night. And then when I was cutting the papers down to, you know, on the guillotine, I had a bit left over that was, I trimmed this to, I think this is 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches. So I put that one together to see if it was any easier. And I think it is slightly easier with the wider strips to keep them straight. And then I had some of this other trim laying on my desk, so I just used that down the middle. And then I went back to the 1-inch strips again just to see if the practice had done me any good and if I had managed to get this one any straighter after doing all those others. And the answer was no. It's still a bit skew-iffy. So let's just have this is the order that I made them in, so you can see how much I improved or didn't as I went through. But they are neater than I would normally make if I was just doing it willy-nilly. I'm not sure that it's worth the extra time it took to get this result. Probably if I practiced I could get it straighter. I mean, this one's definitely the straightest out of all of them, but that's the wider paper, so it's obviously easier to keep that straighter as you work. This one actually isn't too bad. Excuse me, Max is out in the garden and somebody's walked along the alley, so he's barking. So yeah, I might have a go again and see if I get better at doing this, but that's what I made today. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for joining me. I'll be back again with you as soon as I can. Take care, and in the meantime, enjoy your own crafty time. Bye.